During the marriage definition debate in 2013, our basic argument was simply this: if marriage is redefined once, what's to stop it being redefined again? Allowing only same sex marriage on the basis of love and human rights, well, that will open the door for those arguing for polygamous and group marriage. I mean, why would discrimination against these loving adults be okay? How can you be so bigoted and phobic against group marriage? But it's illegal, Bob. Well, yeah, maybe illegal now, but it wasn't that long ago that same sex marriage was illegal also. It's all about marriage equality, eh? Love is love, apparently. And, well, love is love. The latest article in the Herald on Sunday proves that there's a push for throuples. Heard of that? Let's check it out. Well, the media has always been very keen about talking about polygamy and polyamory and group marriage, and this new term, throuples. For example, Radio New Zealand had this article: Is polyamory on the rise? News Hub had this article: Aussie twins call for law change so they can marry the same man. Of course, The Project, how could they miss out on the fun? Polyamory, how does dating multiple partners work? Stuff said 3 isn't a crowd as polyamory gets popular. Had the Sunday Star Times article with a whole lot of love. And more recently, I was seeing 6 people: polyamory, often misunderstood, can also be freeing. And only recently, hey, who needs a groom to get married? Sologamy, self-marriage, maybe just the kind of self-celebration we need. Or in this case, we could marry a rock or a bridge. Well, at the weekend, it was the Herald on Sunday with a very long article, and even had a 40-minute podcast entitled "The Truth About Life in a Throuple: You Can Love More Than One Person." And I thought it would be good just to quickly go through this article and see exactly what they're saying. So we have Laura, and there's an immediately boot into Christianity. Coming of age in a relatively heteronormative Christian environment and attending a religious school. Whoa, how did she cope? Laura followed the same path of committed monogamy paved by generations before her. Awesome. I had a boyfriend in high school, but then she started dating women. There was no point of discovery, no light bulb moment drawing her to non-monogamy, so she continued in commitment, albeit now queer, relationship for years. Befriending her now girlfriends, who were already in a relationship with each other, in a West Coast hospital ward changed everything. She said, when I met them, I liked them both, and I was like, this is different. What does that mean? Now, they say they're not a married couple looking to spice things up with a relationship on the side. Oh, no, of course not. A person dating multiple partners or a man with 2 committed girlfriends. No. And then they go on to talk about Nikki. Nikki is a friend and former flatmate of Laura's. Apparently has a different side of polyamory. Previously, she had felt trapped by monogamy and says she was used to giving her partner her absolute everything and in doing so, losing herself. It didn't quite fit the mold of how I saw my life panning out, but I don't really think there was ever a point of being like, oh, this is what I want. Now she has multiple relationships at the same time, believing you get feelings for who you get feelings for. You can't change that. Yep, it's all about feelings, isn't it? No, nothing else. No moral yardstick. It's all about how you feel. And then there's a section entitled "A Cure for Infidelity." Yeah, apparently groups isn't a cure for infidelity. Go figure. Sometimes touted as a miracle treatment for partners straying too far from the porch, opening up or adding a third to a relationship is tabled as an option by well-meaning friends or hopeful partners looking to expand their sexual horizons in an ethical way. Note that word, ethical. Polyamory, Nikki says, is about removing your own ego and understanding that your partner has other needs and desires that you can't meet. They missed a word there. Other sexual desires that you can't meet. It's a process of unlearning what it means to be faithful to someone. Meanwhile, Laura, in a closed polyamorous relationship, notice she says closed, meaning she doesn't date anyone outside of her throuple. But in the future, if one of them wanted to change that, she says it would just need to be communicated. So it's not closed then. Okay, glad we clarified that. And she also talks about a new word that I hadn't heard of called compersion. Have you heard of compersion? Well, let me just show you what compersion means. The opposite of jealousy. Positive feelings about your partner's other intimacy. How did the word come about? Well, according to whatiscompersion.com, yes, there is a website, it means the term compersion was coined and defined in the early 90s by the Carista community, a San Francisco-based polyamorous group that has since disbanded. No kidding. As the feeling of taking joy in the joy that others you love share among themselves. Beautiful. That is compersion, apparently. I checked the dictionaries and absolutely no evidence of compersion in any mainstream dictionary. Polyamory can't insulate against the jealousy, comparison, and poor communication that can be common in all types of relationships. This article just rocks. I mean, it's just fantastic marketing, isn't it? Both women have felt jealous in their relationships. Speaking to a psychologist well-versed with queer and polyamorous issues every few weeks or so helps them with communication and sharing their emotions, she says. Laura says their lifestyle has really high highs, but it still has lows. Welcome to humanity and relationships. Just a few days ago, she experienced what she recognized as jealousy in her relationship for the first time and found herself comparing her relationships with that of her partner. That's the other partner, the third one, yeah. Now, a sex and relation therapist who works with polyamorous clients, wonder how busy that is, said people that are poly tend to have better communication skills and better relationship skills than people who aren't, because they know you need to put in far more focus when you are having more than just one primary relationship. It's not sexual or romantic jealousy. We're not talking about that. It's actually jealousy to do with, I feel left out. I feel like there's being energy pulled from our dynamic. But the dynamic we have with one individual, she says, is so unique it cannot be replicated with anyone else. That's the first bit of common sense to come out of that counsellor. Having multiple relationships really gives us profound opportunity for spiritual, emotional, and psychological growth because we get to access different parts of ourselves. Really? Yeah, it doesn't get any better. Now, let me just show you this particular excerpt. I'll show you it on the screen here. Our mum, Robin, says that when Laura first came out, she felt proud of her and how she had individuated to the extent that she knew who she was and what she wanted, especially because she had grown up in a Christian context where the kaupapa around relationships was monogamous and binary. In fact, we had pastored a church for many years. I thought she was brave. Again, when Laura later revealed she was dating two ahine, her mum said she also admired her courage and was excited to meet her new partners. Well, I hope the emphasis on the word there is past tense, because they've lost sight of the founding document. And then it goes on to say, Laura makes this comment. Let me just show it to you. There's a lot more people that are coming out as queer or within the LGBTQ plus rainbow, and I feel like people that are queer and more accepting are kind of the drivers of polyamory, because there's no set script of what you should say or what kind of relationship you should be in, and no one can tell you that's not the normal way. Yeah. And then apparently there is a link through to Rainbow Youth, which is interesting. It's this link with the LGBTQ. I mean, does that mean we now have to add PPT for polyamory, polygamy, and throuples? I mean, I'm running out of letters. Look, let's just remind ourselves, throughout history and in virtually all human societies, marriage has always been the union between men and women. It combines the complementary characteristic of men and women, as defined not by the state, but by nature. And nature is exclusive and discriminatory in that only the union of a man and a woman can produce another life. And the best environment for a child is where the two adults that biologically produce them are committed to them and raise them for life. Yeah, it's not always possible, doesn't always happen, but that's the ideal that we shouldn't be afraid of promoting. It's not bigoted or intolerant to speak truth. Marriage, one man, one woman. Whoops. Hope by saying that, this McBLOG doesn't get cancelled from Facebook or Twitter.